The frozen forest groaned under the weight of deep snow, a world of white silence where life seemed to hold its breath. Kaito pushed through the heavy drifts, his legs aching and his breath forming thick, swirling clouds in the biting air. Beneath the twisted boughs of a gnarled pine, something moved. A flash of white against the frost caught his eye. Kaito knelt, his hands trembling with cold as he brushed away the jagged shards of ice. There, a crane lay trapped, its elegant wing bent at an impossible, painful angle. Its dark eyes were filled with a quiet terror. Without a second thought, Kaito scooped the bird into his heavy coat, shielding its fragile body from the wind. He hurried home, the blizzard howling at his back, carrying the small heartbeat against his own chest. Inside his humble hut, Kaito cleared a space on his futon, layering wool blankets to create a nest of warmth. He cleaned the jagged wound with boiled water and wrapped it in clean linen with the utmost care. For 7 days, he fed the bird grains from his own bowl and sat by its side as the feathers slowly regained their pearly luster. On the 8th morning, the crane stretched its neck, beat its wings against the floorboards, and soared through the open door. That night, a rhythmic tapping sounded at the door. A woman stood there, her clothes thin against the blizzard. She bowed silently and stepped inside. "I have come to weave for you," she said, her voice barely a whisper. "But you must never open the door to the workroom." For weeks, the rhythmic hum of the loom echoed through the house. When the woman finally emerged, she held a shimmering bolt of fabric that glowed like trapped moonlight. Kaito took the cloth to the market, where merchants fought to buy it with bags of gold. His pantry filled with food, and his hearth stayed bright. Yet as the silk grew more exquisite, Kaito's nights became restless. He paced the hallway, his hand hovering over the latch of the forbidden room. The silence behind that door felt heavy, almost suffocating, pulling at his curiosity until it became a physical ache in his chest. Driven by a sudden, sharp urge he could no longer suppress, Kaito slid the door open just an inch. The room was not dark, but bathed in a blinding, ethereal light that seemed to pulse with the rhythm of the loom. A crane stood there, but it was a sight of both beauty and horror. The bird was plucking its own snowy feathers, one by one, and weaving them into the golden warp with its beak. Blood stained the white down on the floor. The bird turned, its dark eyes meeting Kaito's gaze with a look of profound sorrow. The loom stopped. In a shimmer of light, the woman stood once more, her face pale and her strength fading. "You broke your word," she said, her voice devoid of anger, filled only with a crushing finality. "The promise is shattered, and so must I be." She walked past him, her footsteps silent as falling snow. She stepped out into the swirling blizzard, her form blurring and stretching until she transformed back into the crane. With a single, haunting cry, she ascended into the clouds, disappearing forever into the gray horizon. Kaito stood alone in the empty room, the cold air rushing in through the open door. He reached down and picked up a single white feather left on the floor, the only proof that the moonlight had ever been his to hold.